I wanted to make a set of nails as a Christmas gift for someone who really enjoys the color yellow. So I thought I'd see if it really is that simple to create this tweed look with the twin tweed collection from Yogurt Nails Korea. Now this should be really quick and easy, seeing as how forgiving glitter gels are. But first, let's swatch the twin tweed collection and see what it looks like. It's a glitter collection with luxurious tweed texture. Let's check this out. So it's got some nice packaging, nothing too fancy, and I don't seem to see a color card, so that's interesting. I've never come across that before. Not a big deal for me though. I don't use the color cards. So this is a 7-piece glitter gel collection, as well as a tweed liner gel. So I was really curious upon unpacking these that 6 of them have a color coming up the bottom on the bottles, and this one did not. So I was like, is there some mix up with packaging or something like that? And then I open it up to look and see, oh, what do you know? This one is clear. There's no tint to the syrup polish inside. Whereas the ones with the color on the bottles, they're all tinted. It's all a tinted gel color. So that was kind of fascinating. And they are an 8 ml bottle, which is okay for a Korean gel. I prefer to see 10 mils. That's kind of ideal to me when it comes to Korean gels. So the set is numbers 51 through 57. This is glitter 51. They seem to be really nice and heavily packed. Oh, it does feel very textured. It looks very textured going on. There's a hint of sparkle in there, as well as yellow, white, black, and a darker yellow fleck. Really nice. As usual, I'm just going to go on the tip with the second layer, just so I can see what that extra application is going to look like. This is glitter number 52. Really nice green. Green, but with some yellow still, it would seem. It's really nice too how, even though this is a really heavily packed glitter, it applies really nice and smooth. Like, it doesn't come across at all chunky and lumpy, and like some of them can be when they pack them really heavy. So it's still got a really nice smooth consistency, even though it's just jam-packed with all kinds of glitter bits. But do you see how nice and smooth that application is? It's not all lumpy and bumpy and pokey. If you give it just a minute, it self-levels really nicely too. So even if you do have any little bit of lumps in there, they are going to self-level out just beautifully. That's impressive with a chunky glitter. This is glitter 53. It's like brown tones, I guess. Which is interesting because the bottle has like a blue shade on it or something, and that is not at all what's going on here. It's like a brown. It's almost like they went, well, we don't know what to do on the bottle, so we're just gonna throw something on there. Yeah, this is a very interesting color shade. Not quite sure what is happening with this. Like, the syrup has a yellowy tan kind of tone to it, and then it's like brownish flecks. I'm not quite sure what's happening with this one. It's interesting though. It's really different. It's like warm and fuzzy. Tweed does give me such warm and cozy winter vibes already. What about you guys? Do you feel the warm coziness of the tweed? Kind of along the same lines as the sweater nails for wintertime. Here we have glitter 54. Probably the whole reason I bought this set. This is a beautiful blue with just some flecks of purple. Oh, this is so pretty. Well worth it for this one for me. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure you're a subscriber and you've got that notification bell. That way you'll know anytime I drop a new video, which I try to do every single week. Here we have glitter 55. This is a beautiful plum purple. Let me know in the comments, are you a big fan of Tweed nails? Do you feel like they've been like really overdone? I know last year was huge for Tweed and I saw them everywhere. This year, I don't feel like I'm seeing them quite as much. Maybe they're not quite as popular this year. Or maybe I just haven't had enough time on social media to see it all. I don't know. Because I'm feeling like I haven't seen as much sweater nails either, so it's just me. Wow, this purple's gorgeous. There's a lot of blue in there too, which I really like. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. There's flecks of blue and flecks of pink in there, which I love. Blue, pink, and purple. It's the best combo there is. It's so cute. This is glitter 56. What a delightful pink. Makes me think Barbie pink. And as most glitter gels, you do need to fuss with it a little bit, just to not have any big clumps of glitter spots, just for a little more uniform look. But it's pretty quick and easy to adjust those glitters very simply. Our last glitter gel here is a glitter 57. It's the clear with black and white and gold flecks. Ooh, I rather like this. I have quite a few black and white glitters that are, you know, kind of sort of this effect, but I think this one is the nicest one now. Just something about the shape and the size and the amount of glitter and the rest of it that this one looks really ideal. And then lastly here we have the liner, which is LG07, and it's just some thick polish in here. So what I'm gonna do with this, just so I can see the effect, is put some Tweed lines on my swatch. My thinking is I can layer this over any of them to kind of see what the effect might be. So my first set of lines. So my first set of lines is cured, and now I'm just going in with like the crosshatch. Can't say that I'm a big fan of the brush that's in here. I think they tried to make it thin, but this is such a thick lining polish that it's taken over the brush. Yeah, like it seems to look okay when there's not a lot on it, when I'm just doing like a smear or a smudge kind of thing. But when you actually do a thicker line with some polish on it there, it ends up, I don't know, getting a little bit bubbly. And I don't know, it's just not really doing it for me when it gets thicker, the lines. And here they are all done. What do you guys think? Are these giving you Tweed vibes, or are they coming across as just another glitter polish? I don't know, I'm quite taken with them, I've got to say. I'm not so sure about this liner, but what really gets me is that it's kind of shiny. Like it's not matte, but it's not glossy, and nowhere does it tell me whether or not it is a no wipe or not. So I'm not sure. I would hope that it would be a no wipe, seeing as how you're putting it over top and you don't really want to seal the whole thing in. And I would like to see this be a lot more matte, just for like a better Tweed effect. So I was a little disappointed in that, but you can see how, you know, going over one of the colors, you will get somewhat of a Tweed effect. I'm just not sure if I'm sold on their liner gel. I've got a few different matte 3D gel paints and stuff for doing Tweed type of things, and I like the effect that they give a lot better than this one because they are very matte and they are no wipe. This one, not sure, and it's got like a little bit of a, not a glossy effect, but not a matte effect either. But other than being a little disappointed in the liner, The glitter gels, I really like. I'm quite a fan. The colors are really doing it for me, especially the blue, purple, and pink, obviously. Here's the black and white ones that I was thinking of, similar to this. They're all from Madame Glam. This one here is just a domino, like black. It's a matte gel. This one here is kind of similar, but it does have a little bit of color in it. So that's why I actually like this one better. It's a little more versatile. You could put it over a color like this to get that effect. So initially, like, it looks like they're pretty much the exact same on the glitter scale, only this one here has a color base inside of it instead of being completely clear. And then this one as well, kind of similar, but it has a lot of color base in it, and it has gold leaf, like gold flecks in it. So yeah, I'm really loving this. It'll just be really versatile and easy to play with. And then I did have some of the colors from the Tweed collection of Aurora Queens, which I've always really loved. And I'm like a massive fangirl for Aurora Queens glitters. But I'm actually liking this one better because I find that as much as I love this polish for itself, when I did look at it for doing Tweed designs, there's too much like hollow and stuff going on in there. I found it really distracting. So I like the fact that this collection does have that little hint of gold or silver sparkle in it, which, you know, dresses it up a bit, makes it nicer, but it doesn't have all of this hollow effect and the big sequin pieces that are in the Aurora Queen. So for Tweeds, I'm liking this one better. Still love my Aurora Queen, still love this collection, but yeah, it just doesn't come across quite as well for me for actually doing a Tweed design. This is more just fun and sparkly. And to me, this one fits the bill a little bit better for doing an actual Tweed design. So I was quite on the fence about this collection for a while, but of course, this polish here won me over, and I'm glad it did because I find this one really interesting and I don't have anything quite like it. So yeah, definitely if you see any of these colors that you like, pick them up. I don't know if I'd recommend the liner gel, but the rest of them are just, really, really awesome and fun to work with. So if you're in love with this collection as much as I am, you can pick it up at Sweetie Nail Supply and use my coupon code LYN for 10% off. And it's one that I actually would recommend. I like Yogurt Nail Korea. I don't like as much that their bottles are a little bit on the smaller side with only 8 mils, but I do enjoy their formulas. And I've got a few collections of theirs now that I reach for all the time. So if you did enjoy this collection, stick around for a few more minutes. I have got a super quick and simple Tweed design that I put together. This collection really does make it that easy, especially for a salon setting. You can just whip it off in no time at all. So my tips have been prepped and primed. And I'm going in with this glitter number 51 from Yogurt Nail in the Twin Tweed collection. This has got a beautiful yellow mix glitter in it. I'm going to be doing 2 coats, just so that the nails aren't quite as transparent because these are press-ons. Now I could go in with a subtle base to cover it, but I'm just going to see what 2 layers of glitter are going to do for it. So now that my first layer is done, I'm going to go in with my second layer. And I hadn't swatched these yet. I went straight into making this set, so I was actually kind of surprised at the viscosity of this gel, considering that it is fairly packed with glitters. And still, it's got a really thin viscosity, just slides nicely. It's not all thick and chunky like some of them can get. Could have something to do with the type of glitters that's in it, certainly. But I was pleasantly surprised by the thin viscosity and how nicely it applies quick and easy there. So that's after 2 coats, and I'm still finding it to be a little too sheer for my liking. So ideally, I would have known what it was going to look like at a time, and I would have gone in with a nude base or like a off-white with a hint of yellow, something of that nature, just to provide a little better coverage. But instead, I'm going in with a 3rd layer, and likely I'll be doing a 4th as well. And then hopefully I'll have enough coverage that I'm happy with it. So I'm indeed going to go in with a 4th coat at this point, which will be my last. Hopefully that will give me as much coverage as I'm looking for. That's why swatching is always a good idea. Had I known this going in, I definitely would have put a jelly tint yellow or syrup or something underneath to avoid having to build this up quite so much, just because I don't want a sheer nail underneath, that's all. Especially with a press-on, you can see too much, and you don't want to see that nail bed underneath. But that's not looking too bad with the 4th. Now, since this is a chunky glitter, my next step is going to be to go in and clean up on my edges because there is a little bit of poking going on around the edge. Nothing serious, just enough that if it was me wearing them, I could find them annoying because that glitter does kind of hang around on the edge a bit there. So just gliding my really, really, really soft 240 or 400 grit just to file and get rid of any of those little edges that are left behind on the glitters. Cleans it up nice. And the really nice thing about doing a design like this is that if you come across a situation like I did where, oh, now your time has changed because you're going in with extra coats than you expected, that even if you have to stop at this point, these are going to be lovely. They're going to be really nice. They're going to have a little bit of something extra going on because of the glitter, and you're okay with that. But if you still have a few minutes left available, you can start out by just doing your first accent nail, say on your ring finger. And then if you get that done in a good amount of time, then you add a second accent finger. And if that goes well, you can add another one. So there you go. You just keep going and detail as many of them with the Tweed design as you want, or stop because you've run out of time. Just makes them really forgiving, a little more versatile. Then I'm just going to clear away any of my filing dust before I go in with my finishing coat. Now, if you're doing these on a press-on, you're going to want to do that nice finish smoothing file all the way around. But if you're working on a client, you would only have to worry about the free edge. Just make sure that there's no glitter chunks sticking out on that part there. Now, it's actually very, very smooth application. So we're not dealing with having to like encapsulate or anything like that. If you're using a very thin top coat, then I might suggest first going in with a little base layer to smooth out if there's any little divots or bumps from the glitters. But from what I'm feeling here, there really isn't anything, unless I've accidentally left kind of a blob of a glitter somewhere. So in that case, I will just be going in with a thicker top coat. I think I will end up using my crazy top with a bit of a lower viscosity. So it's a little thicker and it'll sit a little better and fill out and fill in any high-low areas. So my crazy top thick is super thick. And like I said, there's not a lot of unevenness from the glitters. So I'm just going to go in with my standard, which is still quite a bit thicker than some of my other top coats. So it'll sit nicely. And making sure to seal in that free edge, especially since I filed over it a wee bit to smooth it out. So I've essentially broken the seal somewhat, and you don't want any chipping or anything else happening. All right, so it's been just about an hour and a half, and I am finished with my color coat and my top gel. And so now I'm looking at my time frame and going, okay, I'm going to start by doing a ring finger accent. And I'm not at all a fan of how thick this liner brush is at the end. I just don't feel confident in making nice thin lines with that. So what I'm going to do is take my sweet little palette, my sweet little thumb palette, and I'm just going to load a bit on here. And I am going to go in with my really thin long brush. For me personally, I just feel like I have much more control doing it with a brush like this. Oh yeah, that's much nicer for me. Some people might be able to use something thick like on the applicator, but not me. And this stuff I'm noticing does tend to spread a little. So another reason that you want to keep it really thin if you can, like even thinner than what I'm doing, because it is spreading. And I just don't like at all how thick some of these lines got. So I'm just going to go in with my silicone tool and try and thin out some of those lines. And again, this is a design that's very forgiving, so it certainly doesn't have to be any kind of perfect. I'm just not a fan of like big thick lines. I could probably just as easily have wiped it all and started fresh and had it be quicker, but I always forget that stuff. So I want to add a hint of gold to the striping as well. And I've got 3 very different golds here to look at. So like this one is a very, I don't know, kind of a coppery gold, very light gold, very glittery, sparkly kind of look. Then this one here is kind of in the middle where it's way more bright gold color and it's a little bit glittery, but kind of a little more chrome looking. And then this third one here, very, again, yellow gold color, not nearly as much of a glittery, chunky look to it, but a lot more smooth and chrome looking. So I'm not really sure which one will be the best. So I'm going to take a look at them and see how they go. I'm still really not sure which one. Like, I feel like there's some of this gold in here. I feel like there's some of all of them. So just going to curiosity here. Grab one and go for it. Not sure about that color. Well, let's try the next one. I feel like this might be the winner, where it's kind of in the middle. It's bringing out the yellow tones better, which I kind of like. Because this other one, while it's got nice sparkle, it's kind of not showing gold on here. All right, so if you don't like something you've got, make something that you do. So I liked the yellower color, but I liked the glitter, the chunkier glitter look. And so I mixed them. So now I have the nice chunkier glitter look, and it's a little more on the yellowy tone. And that's giving me a better look for what I want. So now I go back in and cross-hatch the white. And you do want to do it in these separate layers so that you can have them going over top of each other. White over gold, gold over white, white over white. You don't want to do all of one color first because it gives you a much better layered look. So my timing's been really good. It's just taken me a few minutes to go back and forth and layer up that really beautiful tweed design. So I went in and did a second one on the middle finger. And again, you just back and forth. Go one way white, then cure, the other way gold, cure, cross hatch it white, cure, cross hatch it gold, cure, and then just take a look at them and fill in any spots you see that if there's like a big kind of opening where you feel like, oh, this spot looks like it could use a little more. I'm really happy with how these turned out. And yeah, once you're finished your design, you just take a quick little gander at them and make sure you don't have any big blank spaces anywhere. And if you do, you just pop a line in there to fill them in so that you have something that looks nice and cohesive. So I'm going to stick with that, just the 2 accent nails on the middle and ring finger. And let's see what these are going to look like. They turned out just beautiful, guys. Now I absolutely could have gone in with some black as well for the tweed lines, and that would have really put in a nice contrast, but I wanted them to stay really bright and sunny, so I didn't go in with any contrast. But the black contrast would have probably upped it and made it look really nice as well. And then to keep in mind that these are going to be textured. Not everybody can handle having texture on their nails, so this might not be ideal for every client or everybody's nails, but for some people, they won't notice that texture on there at all. And really, it's part of the fun of the design. So you could certainly seal over it if you wanted to and encapsulate it, but you'll lose some of the effect of that 3-dimensional texture. But what do you guys think? Do you like these? Is this something that you'd wear? I don't usually work much with yellows. It's not much of a favorite color of mine, so it's always fun when I get to do something really different for somebody else that I wouldn't typically do. As always, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, don't forget to love your nails. Bye.